Welcome to the Soulful Success by Design podcast. I'm Kendra Woods, your host, and a former corporate healthcare executive turned entrepreneur. After battling burnout, I discovered the magic of human design. As a 6'2" splenic projector, I am here to lead you on a journey of self-discovery, self-mastery, and unstoppable growth. So join me as we dive into the world of human design, mindset, energetics, and aligned success. We will talk about the highs and the lows of creating soulful and meaningful success in your life and business on your terms. Are you ready? Let's dive in. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Soulful Success by Design podcast. I am excited to be with you today, and we are jumping off into a brand new series called Unstoppable by Design. So I am going to be diving into each of the different types in human design over the next several episodes. And so today specifically, we're going to be talking about projectors. But before we get started, I want to say that my intention here is to really make these first few handful of episodes as a foundation for you to continue to come back to as you're moving along your human design journey. Human design, like I've said before, it's a very, layered system, and having a strong foundation is essential, right? Because you're going to want to have this support and this understanding as we dive into more in-depth topics here on the show. So I want you to have a place that's also really organized with all this information, because I know when I was on my journey in the very beginning, I spent a lot of time on Google, reading all these different books, going to different blogs, going to different websites. And I had information everywhere, and it became more overwhelming than it needed to be because I had information all over the place. So my goal here is to really provide you with a place where the information is all organized. You can tap into it when you need to, and it can help you build a strong foundation so that you're not feeling so overwhelmed and just all over the place trying to figure out, what is what. Okay. So I know that feeling, and I don't want you to have to waste your time all over the interwebs trying to piece everything together. So that's the goal here on these first few, handful of episodes. It's like these are the foundational episodes to really get you to help you get your feet under you as you start your human design journey and experiment. So, as I mentioned, today is the start of the Unstoppable by Design series, and I'm going to walk you through each human design type, providing you with a deeper understanding of each of the energy types in human design, what your role is based on your type, what are some of your challenges. I'm going to be sharing with you some alignment strategies and talking about, your role and your purpose here. We all are meant to work together. We all have a role that we play here in the world, right? We're not all meant to do the same thing. We're not all meant to be good at the same things. We're meant to be unique. And as I said in the previous episode, human design is a science of differentiation, right? So this is really about you embracing your uniqueness, what makes you you, so that you can then show up and be aligned and operate in your role, working with yourself instead of against yourself. So today we're going to talk about projectors. And yes, I'm starting with projectors first because, as you know, I am a projector myself. So why not start here? So first and foremost, what we're going to dive into, I have a different categories we're going to dive into. But first, I want to talk about what your type, the type and strategy. So as a projector, what makes you a projector, you may be wondering. So what makes you a projector is that you have an open sacral. And if you remember, your sacral center is that center that's the second square from the bottom. And for you, this is open, which allows you to be deeply in tuned with the world around you and very wise about the people around you. As a projector, you make up about 20% of the population, and we are like the newest type, if you will, in human design. So you're not here to work in the traditional sense. You have that undefined sacral, and the sacral center is all about workforce and life force energy. And so as projectors, we don't have that sustainably. We don't have that like generators do, that where we can keep regenerating this energy to keep going and going and going, right? So you're not here to work in the traditional sense. You're here to guide, you're here to manage, you're here to direct others. So that is literally your role. So if we think about putting together, a play, you would be the person who would be directing everybody. You would be the person who would be, guiding people and letting them know what to do. You're not the one who's, up there building the set and, doing all the doing type work, if you will. You're guiding the flow of the show. So you're here to guide the energy of others. And so you, as a projector, take in the energy around you. And so for you, it's really about your quality of being versus your quality of doing, right? So you're guided by what feels good to you. And this is like the biggest area of deconditioning for us projectors, is moving out of that space of believing that we need to be doing and really doing the work to decondition ourselves so that we can align with our natural ability, which is around being. And so I want to just give you some examples of this for a moment. I want you to think about a beautiful vase that has, these beautiful flowers, colorful flowers. They're beautiful, they're fragrant, and you have them maybe sitting on your end table in your living room, right? When someone walks into the room, or when those flowers are in the room, those flowers have a presence about them, right? They're not necessarily doing anything, but they have a presence. People notice them, people see them. Flowers are meant to be seen. They're meant to be, recognized, right? This is what your energy is like as a projector when you allow yourself to be in alignment. Okay. Another example is when you think about, a cat. I'm not really a cat person, but I think that this example really applies, because when I observe cats, they're really unbothered. They're in their space, they're walking around, they are observing, right? And they know what's going on around them, but they're not trying to be seen. They're not trying to, get attention. They are just quietly walking around, minding their business, doing their thing, but they're there, right? They have a presence about them. And so I want you to think about that when we talk about this idea of being versus doing. So a cat is not out, in the home, like doing all these things. Now, maybe if you had a rambunctious, puppy in the house, the puppy's over there doing its thing. Those are like our generators, right? They're over there, playing and, being feisty and doing all the things. And the cat is over there. It's just chilling. It's like, yep, I see what's going on around me. I'm unbothered. I'm good. Right. So I don't know if that helps you, but it kind of helps me. It has helped me kind of put the idea of being in perspective. Okay. So with that being said, again, I've been saying that you're here to guide, and you're here to guide with your wisdom and not by force. And again, I think this is a big thing that for us to discuss, because, how many of us have been taught, or we believe, or we think that we've got to go make something happen. And I find that a lot of projectors kind of burn themselves out because we're constantly out here trying to force something. We're trying to make something happen, especially like in business. You're not seeing the results that you're wanting to see. You're not making the money that you want to be making. And so then your first reaction is to say, okay, I need to go work harder. I need to go try and make this happen. I need to figure this out. And it's a very forceful energy. And that is not the energy we want to be in, because it doesn't allow our energy to be working for us, right? So projector energy is like, if we look at this from like a feminine and masculine energy perspective, I feel like the projector energy has a real like feminine energy about it, right? It's open, it's receptive, it is flowing with life. It's not trying to force anything. Now, this doesn't mean that, you don't need to have any structure in place and things like that. I'm just saying, like, your aura and your essence is just relaxed. It's open. It's there. It has a presence. It's not trying to force anything, right? So your aura as a projector, like each type in human design has an aura. And your aura is very focused and absorbing, right? So you are quite literally focusing in on the energy of others, on the energy in the space that you're in, and you're able to sample this energy of the people around you, of the environment that you're in. And this is what allows you to be in your genius of guiding the energy, because you feel it, right? You know it. Okay. And so when you're in a space that doesn't feel really good, and you're in a space where you're not able to, guide the energy, or, guide the energy with your wisdom, when that's not able to happen for you, then you can kind of know, like, okay, maybe this isn't the right environment for me. Maybe I'm not around the right people. Maybe the space that I'm in is not the place for me because I'm not being recognized, right? People don't recognize and value that I am here to guide and to help, move things along and to manage. Okay. So if your aura could speak, it would literally say, hey, look, I'm open to an invitation. I'm open to be invited. I'm open to being seen and recognized. And so it's this energy, when you allow yourself to let your energy work for you, when you allow yourself to let your aura do the working for you, then that is what draws people into your life, because your energy is kind of like provoking this recognition and provoking these invitations. So it's not something that you have to do, right? It's about who you are being. Okay. Now, your strategy as a projector is waiting for recognition and the invitation. And first and foremost, I want you to know that you are designed to be seen. As projectors, we are designed to be seen. But again, that doesn't mean we need to be out there, flailing our arms and, forcing ourselves out there to be seen. You're designed to be that way. So there's nothing that you need to do to necessarily make yourself seen. Now, I say that, and I want to be very careful with that, because it also doesn't mean that you just get to just sit back and hide, right? Because if you are an entrepreneur and you're a projector, you still got to show up, right? You still got to show up, but it's in your showing up. You're not trying to force it. You're not showing up because you're like, hey, 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 look at me, look at me, look at me. You're showing up because you are passionate about what you want to share with the world. You're showing up because you're excited about what it is that you want to share, and the information that you have and the wisdom that you have. You are excited. You want to be of service, right? So you're not in the energy of trying to be seen, essentially, right? So with your strategy of waiting for recognition and invitation, first want to say that it's not this passive thing. I say this all the time. Your strategy as a projector is not this passive strategy. You're not sitting back, twiddling your thumbs, going, okay, well, I'm just waiting for an invitation to show up. I'm waiting to be recognized. No. Again, while you are expecting and waiting for these invitations to show up, what are you doing? You are working on your skill set. You are studying. You are showing up and sharing from your heart, being of service. You are allowing yourself to be seen. You are, doing things like this, right? Like maybe you have a podcast, or you are doing videos, or maybe you have a newsletter, or maybe you're out networking, or maybe you are hosting workshops and doing master classes. You're in action and you're doing things, but you're doing things that feel aligned for you and that light you up and that allow you to position yourself as the wise guide that you are. Now, when it comes to invitations in human design, when we're learning the foundational pieces, what you're waiting for as far as invitations are concerned is more of a formal long-term invitation. So invitations generally apply to four main areas, right? They apply to love, career, relationships, or the bonds that you have with others, and the place where you live, right? Now, these, again, they generally apply to these four areas. There are other places, and I've experienced this too, where I've received invitations, and we can look at them as invitations. Your friend calls you up and says, "Hey, would you like to go out to lunch with me today?" Or, "Hey, I'm planning a girls trip and I'd love for you to come." Those are great invitations to receive. And so, you get to then tap into your authority to determine, okay, is this the right invitation for me? Okay. And one thing I've noticed too is that invitations can be, there's different invitations, and maybe I'll get into this in another podcast, in another episode. But there are invitations where someone quite literally is saying to you, "Hey, I'd love for you to join our team," right? Or, "Hey, I would love for you to be my coach. I would love to hear more of what you have to say." Or someone invites you into a relationship, or you meet someone at a networking event and they say, "Hey, I'd love to collaborate with you." But there's also those energetic invitations where you just feel them, right? You're having a conversation with somebody, you're talking about things, this person is, sharing with you, and you can just feel that they are open to what you have to say. They're open to hearing more of your guidance, and you can feel that. And so as you walk along on this journey and you decondition and you do the work on yourself, what happens is you become more in tuned with that energetic invitation. You can feel it, right? You can really tap into it that way. Okay. The last piece that I want to share around this is, waiting for recognition and an invitation. You need both, right? Not just an invitation. People also need to recognize you. And recognition means like they see you, they see the value that you bring to the table, right? They recognize that in you. And maybe they're saying that to you. Maybe they're saying that how they love the way that you coach, or they love the way that you explain things, or maybe they love the way that you do trainings, or they love this or that about you, right? They're recognizing your gifts. And then the invitation follows. When we have an invitation and the person has not recognized us as projectors, and if you say yes to that, you may find yourself feeling bitter after being engaged in that invitation, because this person is not truly recognizing your value. They just want you there to fill a space, or they just want you there because, they've got to move this thing along and they needed to find somebody. You will notice that maybe a client is inviting you in to work with them, but once you start working with them, they're not recognizing you as a valuable resource, right? They want to stay maybe stuck in their own stories and how they see things, and they're not truly allowing themselves to open up and recognize what you have to offer them. Then that's where your not self theme of bitterness may come up. And so if you're feeling bitter inside of anything that you've said yes to, inside of any invitations, you want to take note of that. You want to pay attention to that. All right. Okay. So that's all about what it means to be a projector. Talked a little bit about your strategy. Now I want to talk to you about the different projector categories, because as projectors, like, I feel like we're the most complex type, and maybe I'm just biased because I am a projector. But within the projector energy type, there are 3 subcategories of projectors. And so I want to just briefly have a discussion and conversation around those so that you can recognize which one you are. So the first category are mental projectors. And now if you're a mental projector, you're going to have a combination of a defined head, ajna, and throat center. And so for you, again, what that could look like when you're looking at your chart, maybe your head, ajna, and throat is defined, or maybe just your ajna and throat is defined, or maybe it's just your head and ajna are defined. If that is you, you are a mental projector, and you rely deeply on your mind. And so you have a very open design as well, right? Because if you're only defined in those upper 3 areas, right, like I mentioned, then you're very open. The rest of your design is very open, which allows you to really feel into the environment around you. Okay. You do rely heavily on your mind. So you think a lot, you have a lot going on in your head. You will probably try to make decisions from your head as well. And what I want to invite you to look at is, it's important for you to have a sounding board, to have somebody who you can talk to. And this benefits you because it's through being able to bounce ideas and thoughts off of others that you gain clarity. If you stay in your head the whole time and try to figure things out in your head, you're going to feel this pressure. You're going to continue to feel this pressure to figure things out, which is going to make you feel mentally anxious. You're going to feel overwhelmed. You may feel some bitterness come up or some frustration because, oh, why can't I figure this out? So if you can have people in your corner that you can bounce ideas off of, that you can talk to, this will truly help you gain clarity. And as a side note, I am not a mental projector. I am an energy projector, but even I find across the board, just in my experience of working with projectors in my business and being a projector myself, all of us as projectors can actually benefit from having someone that we can talk to. We need to be able to, that's kind of how we move energy, is by expressing and talking things out. And so you just want to be thinking about that, right? If you have, I have a really good friend of mine, she's a manifestation generator. She understands human design and she's a friend of mine, but she's also like one of my business colleagues. And so we talk each day to hold each other accountable in our businesses. And because she knows and understands my design, if I'm feeling stuck on something, she'll ask me an open-ended question and then I'll talk it through. And by me doing that, I get instantly clear. I think I don't know the answer, but then after I, talk it out a bit, I have that clarity, right? Okay, moving along. The next subcategory is in our energy projectors. So you have one or more motor defined in your design, except for your sacral. So the motors in human design are your root center, your emotional solar plexus, your sacral, and your will center. Okay, so because you are a projector, you're never going to have your sacral defined. So you either have a root center, an emotional solar plexus, or a will center defined. You have all three of them. You may have one of them. You may have two of them. But if you have any one of those motors defined, you're an energy projector. And this gives you this extra energy that is provided by this motors. And so you may feel a sense of pressure to discharge this energy, but it's really important for you to direct this energy towards doing something that you enjoy or doing what you've been recognized for and properly invited into. Okay. Now, two of the things that you may fall into as an energy projector is you may find yourself initiating an action just to release the pressure, right? Or you may commit to an activity where you become the one doing all the work rather than the one who is directing the process because you're trying to direct this energy. And so this is where understanding how these motors work in your design and understanding how to channel this energy is going to be highly it's going to be something that you want to understand to support yourself so that you are channeling your energy in a way that's aligned for you. So you're not saying yes to things that you shouldn't be saying yes to, that aren't correct for you, that aren't right for you, so that you don't allow this pressure to build up inside of you and create anxiety or create worry or, create any angst. All right. So if you're an energy projector, make sure that you are directing your energy and doing something that you enjoy doing. I am an energy projector. My root center is defined. And for me, like exercising is something that I enjoy doing. You'll probably hear me use a lot of, examples and metaphors as it pertains to exercise because that's something that I love to do. And it's also my way of channeling some of my root center energy so that I'm channeling it in a healthy way versus doing a bunch of other things that aren't right for me and then burning myself out. Okay, the last type of projector is the classic projector. So for you, your definition lies below the throat center, okay? But of course, it never includes, doesn't include your sacral, and it will never include a defined motor center. So with no motors defined, what you're able to do is you're able to really taste the fuel, if you will, or the energy from the motors of others and be really discerning about which people are good for you. Okay. And as a classic projector, you want to make sure that you're not comparing yourself to an energy projector. and thinking, okay, well, this person's a projector and she's a projector and she's doing all, she's just going and has all this energy, and you may be thinking something's wrong with you. No, recognize that if you're looking at an energy projector, that person just has a little bit more energy, to pull from, because they have motors that are defined in their, in their design. And so for you, it's like really become okay and accepting of what your energetic limits are, right? Doesn't mean you can't do certain things. It just means that, okay, you don't have any motors defined. So don't try to push yourself or pressure yourself to keep up with a projector who has motors defined, or even with a generator, right? And this is for all projectors. Please, please let go of feeling like you need to keep up with the generators of the world, right? Again, we are deeply conditioned in that way as projectors, but we're not designed to keep up with the manifesting generators or the generators of the world. Okay. All right. So those are the 3 different subcategories. Now let's talk about, like, what are some of the challenges that you may run into as a projector. The first one is going to be your strategy, right? The recognition and invitation. I get it, right? Anytime, I tell a projector or we're talking about the strategy, it's this immediate, displeasure around this idea of waiting, right? Because it can feel challenging. And why? Because we live in a world that often values like initiation. It values, proactivity and being productive. Okay. And so this may be challenging for you because you may feel overlooked, or you may feel a little impatient while you're waiting for the right opportunities. Okay. But again, I'm going to reiterate, this is not about you trying to initiate. You're not a manifester. Okay, so focus on caring for yourself, focus on studying, focus on, having fun, focus on positioning yourself as an expert and showing up and sharing your wisdom, right? And prioritize relaxation and rest as much as possible. Okay. The other challenge that may show up is energy management. All right. So as projectors, we already know that we have an undefined or open sacral. So you do not have a sustainable source of energy. And you're typically not as consistent as a, generator or a manifesting generator. So it can be a challenge for you because you have this, you don't know when enough is enough, right? Not knowing when enough is enough is a challenge for us projectors. And what that looks like is you can begin to overexert yourself trying to keep up with those who have a different energy type. And that can lead you to burnout, and it can lead to health issues, right? I'll have a whole episode at some point around this, because I have experienced this myself a couple of times as a projector, where I have went into this deep burnout because I was trying to keep up with the world. Okay, so learning how to manage your energy is going to be essential. And this is probably the one key area that I definitely work with my clients on who are projectors, is we start looking at the quality of your energy, right? What does that look like? How are you managing your energy? How can we, develop strategies and practices to help you get a better hold on your energy and creating those boundaries? The other area that may feel challenging is some projectors tend to struggle with self-worth and self-value, right? Especially when you feel like you're not being seen, you're not being heard, you don't feel like you're being invited or recognized. And so that can leave you feeling like, oh, I'm not enough, right? Or I'm not valuable enough, or, just that lack mentality. And again, I think because we're saturated and surrounded by a generator world, it's easy for your mind to believe that, oh, I must not be enough because I cannot keep up. Okay. So learning to value yourself independently of external validation, that is the work. And yes, I get that can be challenging and it can feel hard. But that is our work as projectors, is to learn how to validate ourselves and to not rely on external validation. Okay. Sensitivity, right? As a projector, remember your aura is focused and it's absorbing. Right? So you are sensitive to the energy and aura of others. And so the sensitivity can really make you susceptible to taking on other stress, other people's emotion, okay, which can be very draining. And so you want to be mindful of that, and you want to set clear boundaries around your energy. Okay. If you're around people who drain you, who don't feel good to you, you don't like it, you're in an environment that doesn't feel good and it feels draining, you need to exit stage left immediately, right? Because your energy is precious and it is valuable. All right. The last thing I'll say that feels like, a challenge is probably timing, right? Because timing is essential for us projectors, right? If you are trying to initiate or force things prematurely, then you're not going to experience the success that you desire. And again, that's where that bitterness can show up. So understanding like the mechanics of your design, understanding how to work with right timing. This is where trust comes in. This is where having deep faith comes in. This is where like really cultivating trust and faith in the process, in your journey, is so important. Okay. And this is where all the inner work comes in, right? That the soul work comes in so that you can be in your power and walking in your power instead of feeling disempowered because you're not feeling like things are happening fast enough. Okay. All right. So now that we kind of understand like what are some of the challenges, I want to share with you some alignment strategies. Okay. Because this is important. And so I'm going to share with you several alignment strategies, and pick one. Just pick one. Don't try to do all of these, but pick one. Maybe do one a day. Okay. The first one is practicing leaning back in your energy and expecting the invitation, right? Be in expectation for what you desire. Let go of trying to force anything. That was probably the biggest pressure that I've released for myself on my own journey, is letting go of trying to force anything, right? And it's still a practice, right? I still get to grow more in that area, but letting go of trying to force anything. You want to also get in nature as much as possible, because your energy is constantly absorbing and picking up what is around you. Getting out in nature allows you to really cleanse your energy and discharge what you've picked up in the day. So I'm telling you, I live for my daily walks outside. Okay. And even sometimes midday, I'll go outside and just stand in the sun or put my feet in the grass or go walk the dog around the block. Just get outside. When I worked in corporate, I would take several breaks throughout the day, and it would only take me like 5 or 10 minutes, and I would go outside. I would leave the building and just go outside and just go stand by a tree, let the sun hit my face. It re-energizes you as a projector. Okay. Another alignment strategy is to prioritize your sleep and your bedtime routine. Your rest is essential. First and foremost, let me say, like, sleep is important for all of us, right? But as a projector, you need your sleep. Okay. So getting in bed before you are tired will help you really get a good night's sleep. So have a really good like bedtime routine, right? So at the end of the day, I begin to unwind at around 8 o'clock my time, and I will put the lights down low. I'll put some essential oils in my diffuser. I have like a little my clock beside me is like one of those sunrise clocks, so it mimics the sunrise and sunset. So I'll turn that on to mimic the sunset, and it has, a little bit of music playing. I go take a nice hot shower. I may, soak, or I may use like a lavender body scrub. And then, I make me some sleepy time tea and I read a book, like that is my wind down, and I sit in the bed and I just relax and let go and then go to sleep. Okay. So listen, be unapologetic about your bedtime and about your sleeping routine, your bedtime routine. The next alignment strategy is, really study and position yourself as an expert in your field. As projectors, we're here to guide, right? We're here to share our wisdom. So study, right? What is it that you love? What is it that lights you up? Go study that. And in doing that, you then, share that with the world. You're positioning yourself as an expert, right? You are sharing your wisdom. And us projectors are really great at becoming masterful at systems. So if you can find a system that you love, dive into it, right? And talk about it and share it with people. And that right there actually increases your magnetism. All right. Take time to recognize and appreciate your own value. Okay. When you are aligned in your value, it increases your magnetism, right? I know that the way that we show up as projectors it's different, right? It's not what the majority of the world lives by. We live in a world, again, that values more of like the generator energy. And so it's really important that you begin to set a strong foundation of beginning to really appreciate and value yourself for what you are here to do, how you are, how you're designed, and be and stand in your value. Okay. That is so important. Do not ever undervalue yourself in business. Make sure that your pricing is where it needs to be. Make sure you're valuing your time. You're not overgiving in your time. Value yourself. And then last but not least, prioritize where you channel your energy. Everything is not for you. Everyone is not for you. So be very mindful of where you are channeling your energy. And so I will, again, when I'm working with clients, I will ask them like, okay, where are you putting your energy? Where are you putting your energy? Where does it not feeling good? Where do you feel like you're doing things in your life or business that you really don't want to do, but you're doing them because you feel like you have to? Okay. So prioritizing where you channel your energy is going to really help you, again, quite naturally create those boundaries and help you to be more efficient with where you're placing your energy. Right. Okay. So those are a few alignment strategies. Again, like I said, pick one, pick two, focus on them, and then try them out for a while and then move on to the next. Okay. This is a journey, you all right? I know human design is fascinating. It's exciting, but it is a journey. And we're on the first leg of our journey right now, kind of just learning the basics and the foundations. Okay. So be patient with yourself and take this, one step at a time. All right. So with that being said, if you're a projector and you're listening to this right now, and maybe you have questions, maybe some questions have popped up as we've been discussing our topic today, I invite you to shoot me a DM over on Instagram. I'm at Soulful Success by Design. Send me a message, ask me a question, let me know. It could be something that I'll have for you on the podcast, or maybe I'll, do a live on social and answer your question, but I'd love to know what those questions are. All right. This is just the tip of the iceberg, but it's important for you to understand these essentials. And if you have any projector colleagues, friends, or clients who would benefit from hearing today's show, please share it with them, right? Let's get this information out to all the projectors in the world so that they can understand and begin to value their energy. All right. Okay, so let's wrap this up. So today, we discussed what it means to be a projector. We talked about the 3 different projector categories, subcategories, I should say. We talked about some of the challenges, what our role is as a projector, and I shared with you some alignment strategies. So I hope that this has served you today, that has provided you with meaningful, insightful information that you can begin to implement in your life. I want to thank you so much for listening. And I want you to stay tuned because I'm going to be covering the other 4 types in upcoming episodes. So if you have clients, if you're someone that works with clients, you want to listen to all the type episodes in this series so that you can have a deeper understanding of your clients. If you have loved ones, friends, listen to all of them so you can begin to really understand how each of us, what role each of us plays. And last but not least, I have a very special gift for you. So if you're a projector, I have what I call my Projector Pathway Deconditioning Guidebook. And what this is, it's a beautifully designed 24-page guidebook, and you're going to find inside of it my 5 projector pathway pillars that I have found to be most useful in my own projector journey. So these pillars are the ones that, again, I use personally, and I also use these with my clients who are projectors. Okay. And we have found, myself and my clients have found amazing inner and outer success and results in business and life by choosing to like deliberately and consciously unlearn the ways that work against our energy. And this guidebook will support you in that. So I'm going to leave the link for it in the show notes. It is a free download. I'll also leave the link for you if you haven't pulled your chart, but maybe you know you're a projector, but you need to see what your chart looks like, then go to, I'll leave the link for that where you can go pull that. And if you are wanting to take this deeper, you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, and I want to know more, and you want to, know the, personalized, information about your specific human design body graph, then you can book a reading with me as well. I do have a few spaces for that that's available. So I'll leave the link there in the show notes for you too. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. Connect with me over on Instagram at Soulful Success by Design. And also, please follow the show and leave us a review. I would love it if you would leave me a review, letting me know how you love this, how this has served you. Leave me 5 stars. It really helps to get this information and this word out to more people. And I would greatly appreciate it. So go out there and create success from your soul and on your terms.